Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast. And welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
Be 20. Be living in rural Tennessee. Sleeping and hear a noise in my house. Wake up and sit up in my bed. Hearing people talking in my house. I lived alone and in a farmhouse at least 30 acres away from any other people in all directions. Walk to my door and open it slightly, and it slams shut in my face. Run and grab my shotgun and rip the door open. As I run down the stairs, I hear a scream, and the basement door slams shut. Run down the basement and nothing. Check the whole house and surrounding areas to no avail.
Be a few minutes ago. House sitting for grandparents over the winter. Living in an apartment over their garage. House is haunted. Long history with ghosts. Most people in my family have seen stuff. After some past trouble. On good terms with house spirits. Have to keep the wood furnace going to heat the house. Furnace is in the basement. After putting wood in close to 2 a.m. Washing hands in the kitchen sink downstairs. Sink in front of large window. Can see the room behind me reflected in the window. See tall figures step out of the living room into the family room behind me. Turn around. Nothing. Feel something behind me looking at me. Turn around again. See shadowy mist swirling around on the floor where the thing is walking. Mist disappears after a moment. Go back to washing hands. Get feeling like someone is standing over my shoulder. Like that feeling when someone is hovering so close, you can almost feel their breath on your ear. Turn around and face where I think the ghost is. Say, "Could you please not stand so close to me?" Feel it step away. Go to dry my arms off on a towel. Feel it moving around me like it's stepping out of my way while trying to stand near me. Go out into the garage. Most of the light bulbs aren't working. Were working a few minutes ago. Only does this during serious ghost activity. Stride across the garage to stairs into the apartment. Feel ghosts step out of the door into the garage. Turn off the garage light. Start walking upstairs. Feel ghost walking towards my stairs. Can tell it wants to follow me into the apartment. Nope. Dot. Webam. Run up the last few steps. Slam door. The apartment is warded with every sort of charm from as many belief systems as I could find. Ghost doesn't follow me through the apartment door. Must mean it didn't have good intentions. In all the years I've been living here, despite all the strange things, that was a first for me. Not only was it a ghost I'm not familiar with, but it was behaving very strangely.
Last year, my girlfriend got a random Facebook friend request from some girl she did not know. Looks at the person's friends, and they are all private, accepts it anyway. Person starts messaging her about stupid shit like, "Yeah, how's your day going?" And then starts replying on all her statuses. I start noticing her replying to her statuses, and ask my girlfriend who she is. She was like, "I have no idea," and messages her, "How do you know me anyway?" Person replies with my girlfriend's best friend's name and says they met at her house a few months back. She doesn't think too much of it, even though her friend never has anyone over her house, except people she knows from work or people she has known forever. The random messages start getting creepy when the person starts asking about shit she should have no idea about. My girlfriend starts to ignore her. One day, girlfriend is working and leaves her phone in the car. She gets out of work and checks her phone. And she had about 8 messages from the person asking why she is mad at her and why she won't respond to her. Girlfriend says I was at work and left my phone in the car. Person responds with, "Oh yeah, I forgot, you work Tuesdays at," she says her work's name. Girlfriend tells me about it, freaked out because she never once mentioned her job or her schedule to this person. Girlfriend blocks her and asks her best friend who this person is. Her friend has no idea and tries to friend request her, only to find the account was deactivated. Nothing happens for about a month, then out of nowhere, she gets a text saying, "This is person's name. Are you still mad at me?" Girlfriend responds with, "How did you get this number?" Person says, "You gave it to me." Girlfriend shows me the text and tells me I never gave this person my number. I take her phone and call the number. It just keeps ringing. I try to look the number up. It's unlisted. So later on, I call the number again, and it says this number has been deactivated. What a fucking weirdo. A few days later, we went over to her friend's apartment and hang out for a while. I'm friends with her best friend's boyfriend. I tell him about what was going on. He tells me it's weird because he had a random guy come up to him and ask about my girlfriend and how she was doing while he was at the gas station. But he just assumed it was someone we knew. Next day, I'm leaving work and I get a random text from a number not on my contacts, saying I just missed you guys at friend's name house last night. I immediately call the number back and no one answers. I go back into my work and borrow my friend's phone and call the number. Some guy answers and says, "Hello." I ask, "How the fuck did you get my number?" He hangs up. Maybe 2 minutes later, I call again after I collect my thoughts and the number is deactivated. After that, she started getting 4, sometimes more, random friend requests on Facebook. She deactivated her account, then I started getting friend requests from the same people, so I deactivated mine. Then it seemed to stop for a while with no calls or texts. A few months later, we moved into a new apartment. We set everything up, and I get a random friend request on Xbox Live. I accept it. Playing Call of Duty one night, and the person comes on and sends me a message. "How's the new apartment working out?" What the fuck? I block the user and get creeped out. My girlfriend gets a call from her dad one night. He was just checking in. They talk for a while, and at some point he brings up that his security system's screwed up. It keeps going off at weird hours of the night. Might be unrelated, but he also said he bought some guys going through his trash one day and chased them out. And also mentioned that his brother-in-law saw some guy on the porch one day when he was driving by the house, just sitting on the steps on his phone. He confronted the guy, and he said he was just calling a taxi and got up and left. Then I started to notice other coincidences. For example, I was at the store buying beer one night, and someone came up to me. He looked to be about 20 and asked for a smoke. I told him I quit, and he said, "Okay," and walked away. After that, I saw the same guy walking around in the apartment parking lot with his phone out like he was taking pictures. The apartment is about a half hour away from the store. I asked if he lived there, and he said, "Nope, I'm waiting to see my friend." My girlfriend told me she was doing laundry one night, and somebody looking to be in his 20s said nice ass to her. She ignored him and went out to put the laundry in the car. She said he looked out of place. He was just sitting on the bench in front of the laundromat on his phone. After that, she would have random run-ins with the same person, trying to strike up conversations with her in the most random places, like in front of the grocery store once, in her gym's parking lot. She said she never saw this person, once shopping or in the gym. He just seemed to always be lingering in parking lots.
Does this shit still happen? People like that really creep me out. I don't think I'd be able to properly function until the situation was dealt with. How do you and your girl deal with it? Has anything changed in your life since he started? This is the most interesting story in this thread to me.
Nothing has happened for a few months now. This all started taking place around the beginning of 2014 and ended around last summer. My girlfriend still looks over her shoulder everywhere she goes and won't answer her phone to any number she doesn't have on her contact list. Neither one of us use Facebook anymore. We never did find out who it was. And as for the person that we were seeing everywhere, we have not seen him in the area in months now. I find it kind of strange that all the calls and texts stopped around the same time we stopped seeing the person around. The last major incident that occurred. My girlfriend's best friend came over one day to drop some shit off for my girlfriend, and she said that some guy was standing in the doorway to the apartment building wearing baggy clothes, not in the secure part of the building, but in the lobby, and he offered to take the stuff up for her and claimed he was our neighbor. Our neighbor at the time was a 50-something-year-old man. She asked how he knew she was there for her girlfriend's name. He replied with something along the lines of, "Oh, I see you here all the time." She said that's okay and brought the stuff up herself. She was so weirded out by the guy that she stayed with my girlfriend for over 2 hours till I got home. When I got home, I had already known about the situation. They both texted me, and I looked around the parking lot and building, but didn't see anyone out of place. Nothing seemed to happen after that.
My dad had something like this happen shortly after he moved into his old house, after him and my mum broke up. He'd come home from a jog and the phone would instantly ring. "How was your run?" And then dial tone, male voice. He'd get weird voicemail like someone eating chips or something, laughing and mumbling to themselves with the TV on in the background. Certain specific parts from songs like someone had just held it up to a speaker for 10 seconds then hung up. Weird thing was this person would have had to be watching Dad, but his house was on a busy intersection and the only houses were next to us. Dad knew the neighbours, normal people. On the other side of the intersection was a gated retirement village. No windows facing us. You'd go to the window and look out after these incidents, and there'd be nobody on the street, except for the cars, of course. His phone number was private too, so it's not like someone could go through his mail, find his surname in the phone book and call him. It was all really weird, we could never figure it out.
Be 17 years old. Younger brother is 10. He's a bit of a problem child, but at the end of the day we have to live with each other. Grandpa on father's side dies. He was already senile, had Alzheimer's, mistook living people for dead relatives, etc. I was out then, and when I got back they had already moved the body to the morgue. But apparently not before my dad took my little brother to see his dead grandpa one last time to say goodbye. Mom was infuriated by that because no 10-year-old should see a dead body. Kind of agree with her, but don't have the energy to really argue and take sides. Depression hits the house pretty hard, but especially my little brother who starts to act like his grandpa was still alive. Would act dumb when we asked him, and he'd always say either, "Grandpa is at home watching TV right now," or "Grandpa is sleeping in his bed." If we ever tried to breach the subject of him dying, he'd start to cry his heart out for literal hours. Parents can't deal with it, so they send him to a psychiatrist. Nothing's wrong with him. Children just can't deal with trauma very well, so they try to deny reality and hide it in their subconscious. Prescribes some medication for his breakdowns. He calms down a bit for a couple of days, almost too calm, until he starts waking up in the middle of night and cry harder than ever before. None of us get any sleep for weeks. Won't tell anyone why he's crying. Slowly convince him to tell me why he's crying. Apparently he started having repeated visions of himself hanging by a noose over his bed. No idea where he got that imagery from. Tell Dad. He tells one of his friends, who tells him nightmares and hallucinations are side effects of that specific medication he's taking. Immediately throws it in the garbage. Things go back to normal. By normal, I mean he still has breakdowns, but the nightmares only happen once or twice a week. Until one day he has another one of his nightly breakdowns. But instead of staying in his room and waiting for Mom and Dad, he storms out and starts running around the house. Can hear him wailing and stomping like he's running away from something. but I only hear his steps, so I know he's just having another hallucination. Parents, oddly enough, don't wake up, so I pull myself up at like 4 a.m. to snap him out of it. Hear parents murmuring about what to do. Go up to him in almost pitch black darkness and snatch him up. Sit him down on the living room chair and give him a couple of light slaps like Dad does. He immediately looks at me strangely. He wasn't sleeping or unconscious. Try to question him before parents sit him down to talk. Grandpa was sleeping next to me and he got angry like usual and started punching me in the back of my head. He told me I should stop crying and that I should stop trying to tell on him or he'll leave. Tells me he's been feeling someone punch him in the back of the head occasionally as he slept for months. I am so shocked at this point I just stopped him there and called my parents. Parents took him to the doctor again. Brain scans show no sign of damage, no physical damage. He told the doctor everything though. Parents actually refused to tell me what he said even though I told them what he'd already told me. Psychiatrist told them never to speak of this topic again. A week later, the breakdowns just stopped. Been almost 2 years since this happened. Needless to say, we never mention Grandpa in the house anymore. I think everyone involved is just happy it's all over at this point and no one talks about it anymore.
Okay, I'll bite. Be me around 10 years old, warm summer day. Live near one of the biggest American Civil War battlefields in America. Less than 2 miles away from the battlefield, which was cool since I was, and still am, a history buff. With my older brother, behind our home in the woods. We were playing around in the ravine making clay pots from the natural clay deposits in the walls. We do this for around 30 minutes using a squirt gun to soften up the hard gray clay. Then out of nowhere, me and my bro hear something walking/running fast at the top of the ravine. I made the assumption that it had to be something large to make the leaves and sticks crunch and break under the weight. It's a coyote.jpg. To my astonishment, a man comes down from the top of the ravine onto the bottom. A man in his late 60s with a big brown leather hat while sporting a gray and white beard, white muslin shirt, gray trousers, cartridge box, and musket the whole 9 yards. I concluded that he had to have been Confederate with the garb and location of said battle. He stood less than 4 feet away from me and bro. The thing about the apparition was that he looked like a flesh and blood man. Not how movies show how they're see-through. We stared at the apparition while the ghost stared right back at us. But the crazy thing was that he acted as if we weren't there. Next thing I know, my brother grabs me by the arm, and we get the fuck out. I wasn't even scared. I was just intrigued by what I had just witnessed. I still feel for that lost soul to this day, knowing that he had to have gone through hell and back and was still here with unfinished business. A year later on the way home, my mom got a call from my frantic and crying sister that a ghost was walking around in the backyard back and forth. Some wild shit for real anons.
B last year, 19-year-old who takes the bus to school and work. Usually I have to get up at 6:30 to make it there by 8 a.m. Usually the bus is empty, but one day in particular, there was this man sitting in the very back. Guy, looks like mid-40s, pretty big and dirty looking, maybe a homeless man. When I get in, he immediately looks up at me and stares. Bus driver is this old nice man, usually lets me on for free sometimes, and always is very polite. I ask him who the creepy guy in the back is and he says he didn't remember him getting on, but he blames his old age and memory. Whatever. Gif. Sit and put on my headphones. Can't help but notice that this man is just non-stop staring at me. Look over once in a while and I always catch him still staring. I get nervous thinking that this guy is crazy and will want to kill me or something. On the bus for like 45 minutes, then I get off. On my way out, notice that he just gives out a big smile. Nope.jpg. Skip to the way back. Get on the bus. It's around 7 p.m. and I had so much shit to do at school/work that I had forgotten about it. He was on the bus again. This bus takes the same route, but it is a different one. Sitting there and he immediately recognizes me. I sit in the very front and look forward. Once I get off, it's like 8 p.m. I notice that he gets up as well. I get off and start power walking. There's a guy behind me call the police. He starts calling out to me, yelling, "Hey kid, let me show you something. Hey kid, where are you going?" Screw this, I'm running. I run across the street when a car's getting near. I see him run across as well. I hear a loud bang and I turn around. Keck, the car hit him. He gets up like nothing and starts sprinting towards me. Lord God help me please, I run away. I get to this gas station. Creep guy never passes by. I look out and he's gone. I make a run for it and run back home. I get inside and lock the doors, call my girlfriend, and she tells me to call the cops. Decide I will if I see him again. Like half an hour later and I hear someone arguing outside. Pretty ghetto neighborhood, so assume it's just fighting. Look out and see him, he's clearly looking for me, what the fuck. Kid, I saw you come this way. Kid, I smell you. Called the cops and they came right away. My neighbor, some crackhead woman kind of cute, also called the cops because she said she saw him several times outside her house next to a tree in her front yard. Homeless stalker in our neighborhood. All the cops said was, "We'll start an investigation." They never found shit. I have a dog now who has, and I mean it, saved me from many different situations, especially a robbery once. It scared the hell out of the thief and he locked himself in my garage because he was scared of the dog. Haven't had anything happen since. September 2014, chilling in my ghetto house with my dog. Hear this weird rustling noise in my backyard. Look out the window in the kitchen that is right next to the back door. See nothing since my sensor light wasn't on. Dog goes up to the door and starts growling. The rustling stops. Dog keeps jumping up on the door, literally angry, saliva coming out his mouth. Open the door and he runs out fast as hell. I try to see what happens since the only light I have is the light from the kitchen going to the backyard. Hear dog making noises as if he was playing some tug of war with someone, just in a really angry way. Realize that he is biting someone. Go and grab my phone to call the police. When I come out, the dog is running back and forth on the fence, barking his ass out. Look to my side. Guy with a hood. Can't even see his face, but his hoodie seemed wet from the shoulder. Just stare at him as he notices me and runs off. Realize that it was blood on his hoodie. Cops get there and tell them about the guy. Check out my backyard in the morning. Notice this big machete laying there on the floor right next to my garage. My backyard leads to my garage. My whole backyard is fenced in and it stops at the garage sides. My feels when my dog saved me from some dude with a machete trying to break into my garage. My feels when dog didn't give a shit and still attacked the guy. My feels when dog is truly a man's best friend.
Move into old apartment built pre-World War I. Nothing spooky happens for a long time. Girlfriend is working the night shift, so I'm home alone, sitting on my computer facing away from my living room and bedroom. Turn around to check on the dog. He is just standing in the doorway to my bedroom, staring. Don't call his name just to see what he is doing. Takes a few steps into the room and comes running out and sits next to me, just staring down the hallway for the next 20 minutes. Think nothing of it, as I haven't had any activity in the apartment. Fast forward a few weeks, talking to the lady who moved out of my unit into the unit above mine. Didn't say anything about the dog's reaction or behavior. She says she thinks the apartment is haunted. She had cupboard doors open while she sleeps, and not like one, but all of the doors are open. I'm a bit skeptical of her haunting. Fast forward a few days after talking to her. Girlfriend dropped phone in the car and runs out to get it, so I call her phone so she can find it. I start saying hello after she picks it up. She hangs up before she can hear me saying hello. After I say hello about 5 times, I stop, and she isn't even at the door, but I hear a female voice respond, "Hello." Not over the phone, but like right in my ear. Instantly turn around to see if she came in and said hello, and I didn't hear the door. Girlfriend comes in 10 seconds later. Don't tell her that I heard a voice cause she gets spooked easily. Still not sure if my mind was playing tricks, and I thought I heard a projected voice or what. Still somewhat nervous to be alone in the place at night. But like I said, there hasn't been any real activity, so I doubt it was anything paranormal.
I have some spooks that happened last night. I called the police, but their lazy asses took an hour and a half to arrive. Be last night around midnight. Playing some Call of Duty with some bro cause I barely got the game on PS4. Keep hearing some car noises and honking in the distance, but assume it's the train that can be heard at night. I play one more game until I hear my car go off. Alarm blasting at maximum volume. I rush to the window and see the car lights just flickering. I'm waiting to see if anyone comes out so I can at least get a good view of who it is. Wait like half a minute and see absolutely no one. And it wasn't a car because at midnight no one in our neighborhood usually drives, and if we do you can hear the car pass by loudly. Go get my remote and head outside to check it out. Car is a 2004 Ford Explorer. It was $2,000, so fuck off. And the back right side window was shattered. If you have an SUV or been in one, you know that window is usually pretty big. Call the cops and turn my phone flashlight on to see if I could find what it was broken with. Nothing.exe. I look around and my neighbor comes out. Cutie that lives with a roommate guy, so I probably have no chance with her. Asks what is wrong, so I tell her. As she is approaching me, I step back a little and we start talking about it. We hear this weird sort of giggling coming from my van. Not possible. WebM. I check the truck inside and out. She runs to her house to get her roommate and call the cops again. When I approach the truck, this weird black figure literally dashes out from the broken window. I don't know what the hell it was, but it was like a hairy dog or small bear, but the eyes were glowing green as if light was reflecting on it. A lot of fur and a nasty, wiggly tail. It jumped on my truck and then ran off. My neighbor came back out with her roommate, but it was gone. She saw it run off and she can too confirm it was some sort of weird, deformed dog.
Beamy. Reading/X/. Really enjoying some stories. TV shuts itself off. Oh well, it has 3-hour timer, probably just that. Continue reading. Get a bit uncomfortable feeling. Keep reading. Suddenly it hits me. /X/ isn't about role-playing or telling nice stories. These people actually believe this stuff. Conspiracies, goat men, aliens, you name it, and it's there. Out of nowhere, I start laughing uncontrollably, like some invisible force is moving my sides. This continues for about 10 minutes. Afterwards, I feel exhausted. Turn the TV back on. X-Files is on. Good stuff, relax a bit. Hear a whisper in my ear. ILMAO. That invisible force came for round 2. The sudden sound of the doorbell scared the force away. Tense up a little and go to the door. It's a disgusting-looking creature of some sort. Tries to push some weird painting on my hands, speaking absolute gibberish. While he is speaking, I get a glimpse of the creature's teeth. The invisible force takes me from behind. Creature looks at me while the force is taking me under its control. The creature carefully says, "Hugh." At the same moment, the invisible force shows its final form. While I'm howling under the force's influence, the creature seems to get possessed also. Hugh, 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 Hugh. I piss a little on my pants. The situation is getting completely out of control. With my last bit of strength, I slam the door shut, fall to my knees. Sitting in my own piss, I have only one thought. I survived. I don't know what it was. Did a demon enter me or something?
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more Greentext will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.